So today I want to discuss about how to hear the words of the sound, how to listen, how to listen or how to hear the word of the sound. This is different from how to interpret a chart or how to do this is different from chart interpretation and chart reading. This one is talking about how to hear what this sound is saying. Understand that one? This sound talks. Do you understand? But so how to hear? There are different way people there are different ways and different methods to which people interpret chart. Sometimes people use symbolic interpretations. What I mean by symbolic interpretation is like, well, maybe you find a particular figure at a particular house, or use addition. Maybe you had a particular house to another house. So it's another way. So another way, and there are so many ways. I don't want to keep on listing out different ways of interpreting what chart. But basically, we have chart reading, we have chart interpretation, and and uh, um, speaking the words of the word, the sound. So that is saying what the sound saying, what the sound says. You understand? Ba? So so in my own language you can call it what surara. In my own language you can call it surara. That is hearing what the sound is saying, or saying you want to say what the sound says. You understand? This sound, I mean this sound itself, this sound we are using, it usually speaks. But the way it speaks, it's not as if it will speak the way me I'm speaking that we'll be hearing each other. No, no. So there's a way to which you can listen to what the sound say. You know, the way we normally speak as human to human is I will talk, you will hear me, like the way you are hearing my voice. You understand? So in Geomancy case, the way the sound usually speak that way too, but you cannot hear it the way you will usually hear human being. Understand? So now, how do we hear the talks of the sound? What does the chart says? Not in terms of reading or interpreting this thing, in terms of listening to the words. So I will show you how to do that, and it is one of the way of interpreting charts. It is one of the ways of what interpreting the chart, how to interpret chart to tell current what the chart say. You understand, right? So, but this usually happens. This is not always the case. It is not always that you will use this method to interpret a chart. It's not always that you will use this chart. So the sound will tell you when it speaks itself. Not every time the chart speaks. Mind you, this one is different from, because in my own tradition, once a chart has miss, that means the chart speaks. It's called the chart speaks. So it is different from that one. So the chart speak by looking for the maze, by looking for the maze, by looking for the maze, by adding this house 3 and house 5 and house 11 and house 15, by adding them together, and the figure is present. That's also means that the chart speak. But the chart speak in that sense means that the chart has given the authority to interpret the chart. That is what that one saying. But when the chart speak itself, that the chart says what, there is a way you need to check that one before you then do this method I want to show you. But I will tell you how to know when the chart speak. That is when the sound, this one is talking about the sound itself. This sound, they speak, they talk. So there's a way to know that the chart you have casted, the sound is also saying something. There's a way to know with the chart, but I will show you. But let me first of all teach you how to know what it says before I will then show you how to know when to use that method, which is automatically means that how to know when the sound speak. I want to show you how to know when the sound, how to hear. I want to show you how to hear what the sound says, how to hear it, how to hear it. So then I will then show you that because anytime a chat asks me to speak, the chat itself it speaks, but the sound when it speaks that you need to say it out. I will show you how to know that. So but let me first of all show you how to hear. Now let's say this chart speak. It is not all the chart you casted that the chart speak to. Not every time you cast the chart that the sound speak. Not every time you cast the chart that the chart. Sometimes when you cast the chart, just your normal interpretation, blah 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 like that. But when you are talking about higher realm and at another realm, that is when the chart. So once the chart you casted is at another realm, so you have to speak out what the chart says. So you can use that chart speaking you can use chart speaking or the sound speaking to interpret the chart. Sure. But let me first of all teach you one of the ways. But let me first of all explain this by using some Yoruba something, because that's my own language. Then I will then show you how to use your own language, because I'm a Yoruba person. This one will speak to me in a Yoruba language. The sound will use your language to speak with you. So let's say I'm an English person. It will also speak it as well. If I'm from French or whatever, regardless of your language, it will speak your language. You understand? But this one is I'm a Yoruba person. So but I will show you how to bring out your something. So now, in order to understand what the chart speaks, the word, you want to hear the word of the sun. So you need this first four houses, the mother figure, that is the primary conscience house, the first four figure, that is one. Another thing is that, well, you have to know the names of this figure you find in this house. You have to know the names of the figure you found in this house. Aha. Now, the way the child usually speak is like, when you are beating drum, you hear the voice of the drums. That is the exact way the sound usually speak. When you beat the drum, if you are the people that usually hear the word of this drum, when you are beating drum, pam, pam, the drum will bring out some words. You will be if you know how to listen to the talk of the drums, you will easily understand this method, these things I want to talk about, because that is the same way this sound I'm touching, that is the same way they usually speak. You understand? So the same way the drum usually talk is the same way the sound usually speak as well. So now, how do you go about you understanding the talks of the sound? You have to know the names of this figure that you find in house, the mother figure. You have to know their name. Like now, this one is called in traditional Yoruba something. Sorry, in Africa we call this one Ogbe. We call this one Oworin. This one is called Odi. This one is called Ofun. Now look at it now. I want to speak what this sound say. So this one is what I call it what Ogbe, isn't it? Ogbe. This one is Oworin. This one is what Odi, and this one is Ofun. Now, let me first of all tell you what this one means. Now, look at it now. You hymns it out. Like, no, when you want to know some words, when you write some words, either let me use Yoruba. When you write some words in Yoruba, you always put some mark on them. When you write maybe you write a letter, maybe is like now you write zero, you now put dot. You know, this dot is different from ordinary. If you not put this one in my own language, if you write ordinary dot zero like this, you call it O. I did not put this dot, it means O. But if you put dot, it becomes ho in my own language. You understand? But so this sound, this mark you are putting under each word, that is what we need in this particular one we are talking about. We need that as well in order to hymns out, in order to bring out the words. So you will say it out. Some sound will comes out. That sound is what you need for the message you want to pass. So let me go again. This one is I can also call this one. This one is also called Toriki in Arabic Geomancy. Instead of me calling Ogbe, this one is also called Toriki. This one is also, you can also call this one Adu, because it is Fortuna Major. What you can call it Adu. What other name? What is the right word? What is the proper word for this one? Sir? Nasratu. Yes, Nasratu Dahila. This is Nasratu Dahila. But it's also called Adu, because Adu means enemies and likes. Adu means enemies and likes. An antagonist and like. So you can also call this one Adu. This one is called Odi. In Ifa tradition, it's called Odi, and it's also called Ashikafu, and you can also call it Cancer. You understand? But so this one is called Ofun in Ifa tradition, while this one is also called Kobdu Kobdu Karaj. Kobdu Karaj. So, and it's also called acquisition. Now, you see, I call them different names at different traditions. You understand? But so now, because I want to hymn out something, so this one is called, like I call this one. Let me hymn it out first. Let me hymn this one out. Let me hymn it out so that we all hear. This one is Ofun Adu Odi. Sorry. This one is not Ofun. Sorry. This one is Toriki ladu odi ofun. Toriki ladu odi ofun. If you are a Yoruba person, by the time I tell you the meaning of what I say now, you understand that I have hymns out something. I have beat the drums out of this one by using that, by singing that out. I have beat out the drums, and I will tell you what this is simply saying. Let me read it again. Toriki ladu o di o fun. Toriki ladu o di o fun. Now, this simply means that the enemies here is Toriki. The enemies, we don't know what the question, this is the discussion purpose, depend on what the querent is asking about. But it's telling you that at any point in time, if querent is seeking for his enemy, it's telling you Toriki is the Adu here. Toriki Ladu. Toriki, this one is the Hadu. And who is this one? If you know Geomancy very well, you know that this one, Toriki is talking about a tall person, a slim person, a tall, slim person. You understand, ba? He's already telling you that the enemy here is Toriki. He's telling you, this is Toriki, Adu, this is Toriki, Ladu. He's telling you that the enemies here, or the antagonist here, is Toriki. So you have hymns out something. A Yoruba person will already know what I've said. Toriki, Ladu. That is, Toriki is the Adu. That this is Adu. This one now telling you that the problem that depends on what question the query is asking about. So it's already telling if question related what question sorry, if what querent is asking about related to who is my enemy or who is so something, or who is who the person, maybe querent is not even enemy, maybe he's looking for somebody. Maybe querent is looking for somebody. He's already telling us the person you are looking for is Toriki. Toriki ladu odi ofun. It means that why is Toriki becomes the enemy? This one is already answering the question. Odi means that you did not package that thing. You did not package it, or you did not wrap it. So it not depend on the question that because this one is talking. It is hymning something out. He's bringing something out. It's a sound. The sound, just like when you are beating drums, it brings out the sound. And different people hear different sound when the drum is being beaten. Understand? That's why you said that the person that is beating the drum is the one that knows the right answer better. But different people will hear different something. So that's why this depends on the question you are asking. So Toriki Ladu Odi Ofun. It means that why is this Toriki becomes Adu? Why is the Toriki becomes the problem? Because you did not wrap it. Odi Odi means that sometimes you do not wrap, you do not package. Odi Ofun. Ofun means you do not package it, and you do not package it when you are giving the person, because Ofun means that something that Ofun means acquisition. I did not interpret it from acquisition that you give, because acquisition means acquire, isn't it? But I did not put it in that way. You understand? Ofun means Ofun, because the sound is what we need. Ofun, that is, you didn't give that person. So that is the reason why Toriki becomes Adu. Can you see that without even trying to be interpreting this and that we have interpreted this chart. Toriki ladu odi ofun. Now I've given an example. That is the same way. I can also bring another chart to explain it one. But let me also say, let's say I'm an English person and I want to hear this sound. Let's say I'm an English. That's why, but in order for you to be more versatile, you have to know different names. You have to know the names of these figures from different tradition, from different perspectives, from different angles. Look at the way I told you that if I want to describe, if I say Toriki Ladu, who is this Toriki? Because I already know that this one is talking about a slim person, a slim person. Let's even say that we have a lot of people here. I want to pick from them, and none of them is playing a slim person. I already know that this Toriki is talking about a white person. Then the person wearing the white is the one that is the problem. Can you see? Because he's always telling you about Toriki Ladu. Toriki, I can describe person in terms of the weight, the robustness of that person. I can also describe the person in terms of the what the person put on. Maybe the person is wearing a particular color. So that means that, let's say I have a lot of people in front and I ask me to pick from, and none of them is slim person, then I will change. That's why I said that you have to know different names to which this thing is called. So that will make it more dynamic. That's why this one is at another realm when you want to speak. So once you don't know how to go this one, you go through your normal interpretation, normal chart, the normal way you are doing it. So immediately Immediately what the chat say that what this chat speak, it means that the chat you want to interpret is at another realm, is at another level already. Do you understand? Ba? So let's know I've only I hymns out this one from the my own Yoruba perspective. Let's say I'm not a Yoruba person, or you are not a Yoruba person. I want to hymns out something. Now already I know that well. Let's say maybe I'm an Arabic person. This one also has Arabic name, which of course I even mixed. I mixed things together. I said Toriki, Ladu. This Adu. This one is normally called this one is figure of is an antagonist figure. So an antagonist means Hadu. So if I have not used a Toriki Hadu, I could have said that to Toriki. What is the other name? Toriki Law Warning. But if I say that, it will give me another meaning entirely. So let's say an English person want to interpret this one. It might not give it this same meaning I gave you. Because the church already know that I'm a Yoruba person, and it's easy for me to use that my Yoruba understanding to converse with the person before me. You understand? But let's say you are an English person, it means that what the meaning this thing is saying will be different. Just like when you beat the drum, when you are beating the drum, the person that knows what the drum is actually saying is the person that is actually beating the drum. But the people who are hearing the beating of the drum, the sound of the drum, they can give it different meanings. Because that is what they hear. There's the word they'll give it different meaning based on their own based on their own based on their what they hear. Yes, so let's say now I'm an English person. That means I want to say this from Western perspective, from Latin perspective. This one is a via vigo, and this one is fortuna major, isn't it? And this one is casa figure, isn't it? And this one is acquisition figure. So now hymns it out. This is what do I call it in this one is via, and this one is what fortuna major. So via fortuna major. Look at it, via fortuna major. Look at it, via fortuna via fortune. Via fortune, which means that let's say these people that come before me, they are looking for something, they want to get something. So now this one has given us via fortune. It means that that thing they want to get, they will need money to get it. Via fortune. Via in English means via a way, that is means to which you will get something, isn't it? It's via fortune. Via fortune. I know that I did not pronounce it fortuna. This one is fortuna major. So I bring, because I want to hymns out something. I didn't say via fortuna major. I say via fortune. Because by mentioning via and fortune together, I already understand something. So you also need, because you are an English person, you also need to understand English. And you have to use the rhymes. It bring out, once you pronounce it, you will pronounce it out to bring out what it rhymes, to bring out some meaning. Maybe you pronounce it to bring out some meanings. You understand? So the meaning is then what you will then use it to relate to what the current has brought before you. Look at it, via fortune. This is via figure, isn't it? This is a fortuna major figure. Abi, that's a via fortune. It means that let's say what the current is looking for, maybe they want to get something or they want to do something. It's telling them that they need money in order to do that thing. Can you see? They need waiting. They need money in order to get what they are looking for. That's via fortune. Now look at it. This is what cancer figure, isn't it? Cancer figure. This is what cancer figure. And this is what acquisition. So this one has what cancer via fortune, cancer, via fortune, cancer, cancer waiting, cancer and acquisition. Via fortune, cancer, acquisition. If you are an English person, the way I've pronounced this cancer, it could have bring out some words, some interpretation, some understanding to you that will then use it to link this meaning. But me, I only know cancer. I might even be thinking that cancer I might even be saying cancer. Cancer, the way you spell this particular figure, cancer is different from normal cancer. We have cancer as a figure, and we have cancer as we have cancer as a disease, isn't it? We have cancer as a disease, and we have cancer as a figure. But we are talking about cancer as a figure. So as an English person, by the time you pronounce this cancer, you already know that the word. What meaning does it bring to you? Does it bring the meaning in terms of the word sickness? Because it is the rhyme that it brings out from that you derive that matters, not the do you understand? So I can say via fortune, cancer. So in this cancer now, I can literally interpret the word, this thing you need is is cancer. So what is that thing that first comes to my mind? It might be sickness. So this, and we have already found a clue. This one is talking about cancer. So it's talking about sickness, not necessarily the original cancer, sickness. So parents should be careful so that cancer will not take, that is sickness, problem will not take away its wealth or property. That is, when the money that the parent has gotten will not spend it on what? On cancer. This cancer wouldn't be interpreted as cancer, the normal cancer that usually catch people. But what we need here is what? Cancer as a sickness. So as an English person, you can decide not to take it as what? Cancer. You can't say, because this figure also means prison. This figure also means prison. Something is where back a hand. So it might also depend. So it all depend on the nature of the question the person brought to you. You understand? It also depends from the nature of your tradition. Because if you are in your tradition, look at the way I brought out my own. When I wanted to interpret this one from my Yoruba perspective, I take this one from Toriki, Toriki, Ladu. I put la. This one is Adu, Ladu. You understand? Let's say in my own language, let's say it is a competition that who will win. I already know that Toriki la adu. That is, Toriki will first adu, will take first in a position if they compete. Toriki will take first. But me, I'm understanding this. If a Yoruba person is listening to me, you understand it the way I'm bringing it. That's why I said that, well, in your own tradition, you will pronounce this thing together. So it will be bringing out some sound in your brain. It will bring out some words, some understanding. So, but me, I'm literally interpreting this one because me, I'm not, like, I call this one cancer. What first comes to my mind is what cancer as cancer. Maybe when somebody is having cancer. So it's immediately it comes to my mind, I change it again to cancer, not necessarily the cancer we need. We are talking about the sickness. So already we have gotten that one. This one via fortune. That is, the problem will be solved via fortune. Fortune. What is that problem? Cancer, sickness. So the problem is coming for querent, and what the querent will use to solve it is what? Fortune, money. Which means that if querent is going somewhere to go and do one or two things, he shouldn't seek for something free. He should make money for it. If he did not pay for it and he was able to collect it, it means that he was only deceiving himself. With this, this is where we already stop via fortune, cancer. I mean, problem ahead, it will be solved by spending money. If they give you that thing for free, you have only wasting your energy by going there or by collecting it. You need money to. Can you see the way I'm interpreting it from a Western perspective now? Hope you understand. Now, acquisition. Already, this one has already said itself. We have already said this already. Acquisition. That thing you want to acquire. Querent want to acquire something. That thing will be problematic if querent didn't pay money for it. Who is querent? Toriki. Because you can also interpret it inversely. Querent will acquire something. Acquisition means acquire something. It's just like people who usually interpret, when people want to use card. People want to use card to interpret something. They will give you that card. They will tell you, what did you see first? What is that first thing you see? What is that thing that comes to your mind? That is what they will then use to interpret. That same rules applies here. Acquisition. When you pronounce acquisition, what comes to your mind? Acquire. If I want to use my language to pronounce this acquisition, it might give another meaning. Acquisition, I can pronounce it with my language. Acquisition, it will give you another meaning. Do you understand? So it is those hymns, you are hymning out. That is what we call what the sound is speaking. The sound, this sound you are touching is speaking. But in order to be very versatile with the language of this thing, you have to know different, because it doesn't necessarily that well because you are in Western something, you must necessarily use Western something. I just use that one to guide you so that they pen. But you must know the attribute of this word figure. Like me now, when I wanted to interpret from Yoruba, I even go into Ifa. I said I use Toriki, Ladu. Guys, I changed this one because I know that is an antagonist figure. I know that antagonist is the same thing as well. Adu. Guys, and I said Toriki Ladu. Guys, so it's like you are beating the drum, you are beating sound out of it. You understand? I hope you have already gotten an idea about it. It takes a lot of practice for you to understand this thing. So in order not to make these videos to be too long, because if the video is too long, by the time I want to upload it, it will be slow, or it will not upload on time due to network or something. So I hope you have understood. If you have question, you can always ask question. If you don't understand, it is question that will make you to understand much further. So, but this one is called chat speaking. It's different from chat reading. It's different from chat interpretation. It's different from all those. So this one is just chat speaking. You want to speak out what the chat says. It's called chat speaking. So and chat speaking is the sound, this sound that is speaking. So it now depends when you are pronouncing it, the pronunciation will comes to your head. So you then relate it to what the question is asking about. So now it is not like I said earlier that well, it's not every time that you cast a chat that the chat speaks. It is not every time that you cast a chat that the chat speaks. So there's a way to know if the chat speaks. Just like the word, there's a way to know if the word, the Romley itself, it speaks. That is when you check the maze, you check the maze if the chat has maze. That is number one. Because that is once because when in my own people from one of these the right language is like, well, does the chat speak? There's a way we check if the chat speak. We check the maze. But this one is talking about does the sound itself speaks. I don't want you to confuse it together because you will think that, well, this is the way, that is different. So how do you then know if the chat speaks? That one is different from the maze you want to look for. How do you know if the chat speak? Because you can't start if you are doing this one without confirming the chat speak. You're only saying what you like. Do you understand? So so how do you then know if the chat speaks? If the chat speaks, how do you know? Anytime you see a figure, especially figure in house one, anytime it repeats at least 3 times, minimum of 3 times, it could be 4 times, 3 to 4 times within three, either 3 or 4. I'm the one saying that more than minimum of three, but according to the way the thing is once you see a particular figure, especially the figure in house one, if it repeat 3 times or 4 times, it speaks. But if you repeat five upward, know your limit. You understand? But that too is what. So that if you repeat more than 4 times too, it can also speak too. But according to the way the thing was explained, it is once it repeats 3 times or 4 times. In fact, some people say that even just 3 times. So not even 4 times, but 4 times too can also. So and that is when the figure in house one repeat. When the figure in house one. But that is not the only rules to know when the chat speaks. That is not the only rule. But that is the one I just want to explain for the primary for the purpose of this discussion. That is not the only way. Because if I say that well, it repeat 3 times or 4 times, there's something you will check. If the chat will repeat 4 times or something, something you will check again in order to double check again. But at least for this discussion purpose, once the figure in house one repeat 3 times or 4 times, the chat speaks. You can then apply that method. But if it doesn't, that means other method that you know, that is what you apply to interpret that chat. Hope it is clear. Mind you, I didn't say that well, if the chat repeat 5 times or 4 times, but that is only when it speaks. I said that well, according to where the thing is passed down, and we will explain. Once it repeats 3 to 4 times, that is what it says. But if it now repeats 4 times, if you see anybody's interpreting it, speaking the chat, from maybe when it's played 4 or 5 times, and you're not saying that the person is wrong. No, that person doesn't wrong go. You understand? So because there are other things you need to know, but the minimum is for this one I have explained to you is one is to play between 3 to 4 times is okay. So I want to believe that you already understand this. So thank you for watching, for listening from the beginning to the end. May God be with you, and try to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because once you subscribe to the YouTube channel, anytime I made a new post, you will be among the first set of people that will see it. And I also encourage you to share, because the more you are sharing, the more you are encouraging me to post more. So when you do not share, that means you don't want to encourage me to do more. Do you understand? But so encourage me is much better. Share this thing, and so that it will encourage me to put more effort in doing more. So share, subscribe, and share. Thanks you. May God bless you.